So you're a group fighting against fossil fuels, and some days ago you threw tomato soup on a Van Gogh's painting. Why did you do that? What was your goal?
We did it to get more people talking about the climate crisis and the cost of living crisis, because right now there's 33 million people displaced by floods in Pakistan, 36 million people facing extreme famine in East Africa due to crop failure. And yet it took two young people throwing soup at a painting to get more people talking about the climate crisis than these millions of lives that have been destroyed by climate disaster.
People were shocked, even outraged. Do you think that this is helpful to fight against the climate crisis?
Absolutely. So as we've learned from history's examples, almost every single act of civil resistance in history has been met by controversy and even hatred. The suffragettes and the suffragists were despised for what they did. Martin Luther King was voted the most hated man in America. The queer liberation movements, they were all completely hated for fighting for their own rights. But now history looks back on them as people who stood on the right side of history and fought for what they believed in, fought for the world that we have today. So that's what's happening with Just Stop Oil. We've been completely inspired by those movements that came before us. And even if people are currently outraged and shocked and angry at what we did, all those negative emotions, they will trigger conversations, not just about what we did, but about why we did it, about our message and our demand of Just Stop Oil. And even though people are angry at us, they're also talking about us, which is absolutely what we want and absolutely what we needed to happen.
And I think particularly with our action, it created a very emotional response in people. And I understand that, because when you see it, particularly if people didn't know that there was glass in front of it, it's a shocking thing. You see that and you think, you might be outraged, you might be shocked, because you go, that's something beautiful, that's something valuable, that's something that needs to be protected and not damaged. Where's that emotional response when it's our planet, it's our people that are being damaged and not protected? Where's that response to real sunflowers? Where's that response to the 1/3 of wheat crops that we lost last summer in the heat wave, to the half of our potato crops that we're predicted to lose this summer?
So would you say that you achieved your goal?
In lots of ways, yes, because we've got people talking. You're sat here talking to us. That's what we needed. We needed to get people talking. But we haven't achieved our full goal, because we are going to be, Just Stop Oil is going to be engaging in acts of civil resistance every single day until the government meets our demand and immediately halts all new fossil fuel licenses.
The painting was protected by glass, so nothing was destroyed. Did you take that into account?
Yeah, we knew going into it that painting was protected by glass. But the reality is that right now, people in the global south aren't protected. Future generations aren't protected. Those 2/3 of UK homes, which are going to be in fuel poverty, aren't protected.
So would you do it again?
Absolutely. And we're going to continue fighting against our governments until they meet our demand of no new oil. We're going to continue engaging in acts of civil resistance every single day. We're going to continue meeting at Downing Street at 11 a.m. every single day. And we're not going to stop until the government stops their genocidal act of pushing forward 100 new fossil fuel licenses.
We're fighting for our lives. Why would we stop?
You're funded by the Climate Emergency Fund, which is not really transparent. So why using money for such shocking actions instead of productive measures to tackle the climate crisis?
Yeah, there's a lot of debate surrounding whether the money that's in Climate Emergency Fund should be going towards civil resistance groups like ourselves, or towards some unknown form of research towards preventative measures, as you say. But the fact of the matter is, we already have that research. We've got the science. We have everything that we need to make these changes, apart from political will. So we've known the science behind the climate crisis for decades now. There's enough money in our government to be able to fund these changes. So the fossil fuel industry gets subsidised by the UK government by £236 million a week. So we have the money to drive these changes. We have the science and the research to drive these changes. The only thing we don't have is the government taking their eyes away from their own personal bank accounts for 5 minutes to look at how their greed is killing us and killing our children. So that's why we need civil resistance. We don't need research, we've got that. We don't need money, we've got that. We need civil resistance. We need people on the streets forcing the government to look at us and to listen to us and listen to how we're dying because of them.
So what do you think, how far should activism go?
At this point, we're willing to engage in any non-violent means necessary to make a change. We're a completely non-violent group. We would never do anything that would harm people. But any tactics within non-violent direct action, we will use. And we will keep on escalating our actions until the government listens. We will keep coming back out every single day. We won't be stopped because it's our futures at stake. It's our planet, it's our people at stake.
Many people say it's not enough what's happening right now. But your actions are too extreme. So I'm against the climate crisis, but that's too much. What do you say to them?
To those people, I would say, in that case, please tell us what we should be doing instead to make this change. Please give us a new method that will enact this, that will spark the same massive conversations about what we're doing. Because in the climate movement, we've organised and attended more marches than we can count. We've signed petitions, we've written letters to our members of parliament, and nothing changed. You know, we've tried every possible thing before resorting to non-violent direct action. This is a last resort. This is an act of desperation, what we're doing. So if those people who are criticising our methods can think of a better way to get the government to listen to us and make changes, then we in Just Stop Oil are all ears.
We're not talking about we should stop using plastic straws or start using bamboo toothbrushes now. We're heading towards complete societal collapse. We're going to lose everything. And, you know, that's some of the things that keeps our society great, you know, like the NHS, like the welfare system. But it's also culture. It's also art. It's also music. Look around you. Look at how magnificent this stuff that we've created is. And look at the path we're on to destroy it all. It's worth saving.